Hello everyone, my name is Wendy with Winds of Change Ministries, and today I'm going to be talking about uh, a lot of commandments actually, because the video I made last night, the sound didn't work and I didn't notice it till I was already home and I wasn't going to come back out here, so I'm going to be doing two videos today. The first one, I'm going to focus on thou shalt not murder and thou shalt not commit adultery. All right, so murder. Well, duh. No one intends to murder. Well, I guess villains do. But there is some confusion about killing a person. Okay, so if you're in self-defense, that is not murder. That's, self-defense. If you're in war and you're killing people, well, if it's an armed soldier who wants to kill you, well, yeah, that's not murder, because they were gonna kill. It's defending yourself, right? But if you go into a town and you kill all the women and children, well, I think that would be considered murder for sure. Then there is the when we terminate pregnancies. A lot of people don't want to admit that that is murder, but it is. And it's new life. It's new life. And whenever the X and Y chromosomes combine, right, and during conception, it becomes a new being. So it is a new life, and it's not like you're cutting off your own finger. All right, it's not like you're like, oh, I don't like the tip of my nose, I think I'm gonna have plastic surgery and snip it off. All right, that you can do to your body and not have to worry about the consequences, But when you end a new life, well, that has karmic consequences. I find it so amazing that you've got some people in the spiritual communities who are against eating animals, eating meat, because it's inhumane, and yet they're strong advocates for terminating pregnancies. Where's the logic in that? I don't know. There's no logic there. Now, I will tell you that we are in Earth School, and we're here to learn. We can learn the easy way, we can learn the hard way. I grew up with no intentions on ever having an abortion. I was pro-life all the way. But then situations happened, and because abortion is legal, I did take the easy way out. And I remember the first time that I went into the clinic, and I was, because a situation happened and resulted in, an unwanted pregnancy. And I was like, well, I learned my lesson. I'm never going to do this again. So I never did the behavior that led to that unwanted pregnancy. But, I came here to learn lessons so I can teach. I came here to be a teacher, and the best way to be a teacher is to actually learn the lessons, okay? So after that, God threw a couple more situations at me. So I know, and I completely understand all the reasons why people would consent to having a pregnancy terminated. And but that doesn't make it right. And even though this modern world doesn't have consequences, the spirit world does. It does. All right. And you kill an unborn life, an innocent life, you're building up all kinds of bad karma for yourself. And like I said, I came to this world to learn things the hard way so that I could teach, okay? And I did learn those lessons the hard way. And legalized pregnancy termination made it made it all too easy, okay? And that's why I'm still pro-life, even though I made mistakes in the past, okay? I'm not trying to be hypocritical. I'm trying to teach you that don't, if you can avoid learning things the hard way, do so, okay? Because what happened was when I started to go through my spiritual awakening, I had a dream one night where I was flying with Jesus, Yeshua. We were flying together behind a car that, a family van actually, a family van that was driving through the mountains. So it was a real windy road. And I noticed that this family car kept almost driving off the road. Like it was barely holding on to the road with two tires. The other two were off. So I mean, this was a very, and I could feel the emotions within that car. Even though I was outside, I felt the drama and the stress going on inside that car, and it was pretty intense. So as the vehicle was driving through the mountains, and I was almost driving off the road, or the vehicle was, excuse me, Jesus explained, this is when that happened to you, and this is when that happened to you, and this is when that happened to you. So they were life events that almost caused me to drive off the road, down, into a dangerous situation. Drive off the road into, there's mountains like cliffs, okay? So anyway, after a while, I eventually did drive off the road, and I saw the vehicle roll. It went under a power line, and then it crashed into a substation where they have transformers and stuff. And as the dream was coming to an end, Jesus told me, this is when your daughter Amora died. And that was the end of the dream. So this was one of the first dreams I had that I knew had significant meaning to me. And I didn't know all the details. It took me years to understand it completely. And but I woke up knowing that it was when I had my first abortion, and I terminated my pregnancy, and this is when my spirit of love died. So my daughter Amora represented my spirit of love, and it died. So many of us have damaged heart chakras, okay? Now, I did not know what a heart chakra was back then. This was years ago. And but as I collected more puzzle pieces and dreams along the way over the years, and then I eventually came across this knowledge of chakras and stuff, I suddenly understood what that power line was that my vehicle rolled under, and what the substation was, right? So I made damage to my heart chakra, and it caused a major blockage. So there are consequences, there are consequences for these behaviors. God warned not to do these things, but we think that it doesn't affect anything, but it does. It does. And so, in telling you this, that I'm back to being pro-life, it's not for any reason of I'm going to condemn people. I don't choose to condemn people who have to learn things, okay? It's not condemnation, but I am bringing judgment, all right? It's a different form. Judgment, the word judgment can be interpreted as teaching, right? Stern teaching, like a reprimand. And it can be condemnation. I'm not trying to condemn anyone. I'm trying to to very firmly teach you that abortion is bad and there are severe consequences involved in it. Now, I have had my heart reactivated, my heart chakra, and I can tell you it took years and years and years of pain and suffering, okay? Pain and suffering to reactivate my heart. Doing that, well, think of it for a moment, all right? You've got a person dead on in the hospital emergency room, and their heart stopped. You think those electrical paddles that they put on the chest, do you think that feels good? No, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good, all right? So, and that's what has to happen to get your heart chakra reactivated. A lot of pain and a lot of suffering, okay? Because you're doing your inner healing. You're having to discover why your heart chakra isn't working. And I can tell you there's lots of reasons why a person's heart chakra could be damaged. All right, because that windy road, I saw where I was nearly off the road several times. So I had some severe things happen to me. But the thing that really, hit the nail on the head was when I had an abortion. And then that is what caused my heart chakra to shut down. So we've got a lot of people in the world who have either been a willing participant in performing the termination, a willing participant in, taking the procedure, and a support system, right? A corrupted support system of people who push others to have abortions. So, like the boyfriend, the lover, parents, big brothers and sisters, neighborhood friends, everyone that consents to it and agrees with it and thinks it's the best thing, they are all guilty. They're all accomplices in that murder. So think about that, okay? Now the next topic I want to talk about is thou shalt not commit adultery. So adultery is sexual behavior outside of wedlock, all right? So a person could be married and cheat, and that's adultery. Or people can be single and cheat, and have sexual activity. That's adultery too. And for those of you who say, oh, no, I don't agree with that. Well, you might not agree with it, but it still is what it is. When you, and here's the dangers of sex outside of wedlock. The unwanted pregnancies, which lead to murder, okay? Unwanted pregnancies lead to murder. So if a couple is together, then chances are they're going to want that baby. But if they're not together and it's a loveless act, sex is supposed to have meaning, all right? It's supposed to be special. But in today's society, it's not. It's a loveless act. And what happens when you perform a loveless act is sometimes you get caught and you have to make really tough decisions. And so it's just best not to put yourself in that situation to begin with. So that's just the way it is, okay? If it seems stern, and it is. Or and you can do things the right way, and let God bless you in the ways that He chooses to bless you. Or you can learn things the hard way and then have to suffer the consequences, okay? Because karma is real. And we are entering the era of really coming to full understanding of this stuff, okay? Now, I know this is supposed to be we're talking about the Feast of Unleavened Bread, and I'm bringing in, talking about karma and chakras and stuff. Hey, if that is how Jesus chose to teach me why it's not good, then I'm going to include it, okay? Because actually Jesus is the one that taught me about that power line and that substation. I just had to figure it out. Regardless, the laws are true, okay? You don't want to do that. So, yeah, adultery is not good. And you know what? Even you can get diseases. You can get, jealousy. Jealousy is a low vibrational frequency. Jealousy, if you're cheating, right? That kind of adultery. Jealousy can lead to murder. So it's just best if you're on the ascension journey and you're wanting to raise your vibrations, if that's your goal, then living a righteous life, an upright life. That's what righteous means. It means upright. So if you want to go up, up, up on your ascension journey, then you need to live a righteous life. All right. Well, I think that's going to be it for this video. I have to do another video to make up for yesterday, but this one's long enough. My name is Wendy, and we're all living in the winds of change.